Hey, you guys. So I know that have I rescheduled this live several times and I'm starting the live early today, but I just kind of wanted to get into the conversation and kind of get this live over with because there are so many other things I want to do. But I think I might do a couple more videos on the gays before Pride Month is over. This particular video I was actually a requested video. This is not me picking on the gays. Um, I had a non-binary person come to my channel and basically triple dog dare me to talk about this subject. So let's get into what was requested. Let me share that with you, and then we'll get into the rest of things, okay? So, first and foremost, I had a non binary person come to my channel. Non binary basically means they don't consider themselves, and some of them don't believe that there are only two genders. Normally, they think there are an infinite number of genders. It's really funny. The idea of gender is based on male and female, but non binary people are overarchingly, I have found, not the brightest. And they're the ones that have like weird genders. I did a video on this, like all the genders they have. But negative binary, who's a troll? And I'm going to show how I know this is a troll, but I wanted to have this conversation because there's actually something that we really do need to discuss with regard to homosexuality in the Black community and lesbianism. So, negative binary said, at the Radical Black Conservative, you say gays are 4% of the population. I've never said that, but gay people do make up a small percentage, somewhere between 3 and 10%, depending on, and by gay, I mean all of the queer community, trans people, non binary people, people who are asexual, basically people who are part of the queer community, make up 4% of the population. And then this person provides me with a link and dares me to discuss it. Literally says, I dare you to discuss this, right? So my first thing was, let me go ahead and um, see who this person is that's daring me to discuss something. First of all, now y'all know not to dare me to discuss anything about the gays, okay? You know, the one thing we will discuss on this channel are the gays. So um, I went ahead and I went to this person's page just to see who I was dealing with. And I saw that this person is actually has not had their page for very long. They literally joined June 2nd, 2021. So I'm guessing this is like a homosexual person, somebody that's part of the queer community that created an account just to do kind of gay trolling, which is why they're calling themselves negative binary. I would like to think that you personally created this account to troll me. Maybe some of my gay videos got under your skin. If so, I appreciate that, honestly. I think if you are taking the time to create an account just so that you can be on my page, then that is very flattering. So thank you, my homosexual friend. But let's get to the assertion. I want to take you guys to, first of all, what you said. All right. Because the first thing I did before I made this video is I wanted to see, and I think that the numbers have changed, what you guys thought. And you guys can go check out the poll on my community tab if you want to see what you guys thought. But I want to first take a look at the link that this queer person gave me that they dared me to talk about. So, first of all, if you guys dare me to talk about something, can you at least pull up the original source? Like, I should not have to go on a hunt to discover your sources. So, where this person got this is they were on a forum, okay? And on the forum that this person was on, they said 23% of young Black women now identify as homosexual. The reason I titled this video Rainbow Vomit is because the gays have a way of attempting to promote themselves as if they're everywhere and they're just not everywhere. And because many of them are liars, and for me, gay people that I can talk to are gay people that can be honest, right? But in the queer community, lying and like fudging facts, it's like that whole video I did on child molestation. Gay people do molest children more, but the way that they lie about it is because if you molest children, you're a pedophile, and pedophilia trumps homosexuality. So gay people molesting children aren't considered to be engaging in homosexual child molestation. They're just child molesters. And so they're able to say they don't do it more because they're not categorized as homosexual molestation. It's categorized as pedophilia or hebephilia, right? So, little slippery stuff like that. But like in reality, if you look at child molestation, it's homosexual child molestation occurs a lot more. I think, what was it, 17% more? No, seven times more um, than heterosexual child molestation. Go to my video about that. Go to go to Rainbow, Debunking Rainbow Propaganda, or go to my 7-hour gay day. And then I actually have that video and all the sources that I use. But the reason I'm bringing it up is because gay people have a way of twisting the facts, right, to make themselves look better or more pervasive than they are. And so this person was on a forum and uh, they basically tied it to a survey. So I want us to take a look at this survey. So first and foremost, I'm going to say off top, yes, the survey did say The survey did say that 23% of Black women, African American women, identify as lesbian. But before we don't get excited, gay people. I don't want my lesbians getting excited. Before we all get excited, we need to take a look at the study itself. And these are the games that they play. But person, because I'm an honest person, okay, I'm going to I'm going to share some other studies with you that are better studies because we do need to discuss homosexuality in the Black community. Now, this study is trash, but I'm more honest than the person that left the comment. Okay, because there is something we need to discuss, and you guys aren't going to be happy, but Cynthia might be right about Black male worshiping culture, and lesbianism might be what proves that. But don't get mad at me, men. I have some legitimate backing for this. So let's go to the study that this person was talking about. Okay. So the study that this person was talking about was featured by the Big Think. Okay. And you had a professor who ultimately was, so I want to get into this. Okay. This professor was in San Francisco. I'm not San Francisco. It was in Santa Barbara, California, where I'll have you know, their local university, three of the female basketball coaches, all three of them are lesbians. Okay. So, and there's like one guy coach who's heterosexual, but all three are lesbians. In fact, I feel like all the Cal States, the basketball coaches are overwhelmingly lesbians, like the female basketball coaches. It's a weird phenomenon, like even in Palo Alto, like it's just a weird phenomenon. But California is kind of like the gay mecca. So this should not be surprising. So they go to a place that is filled with gay people, and then they survey 1,400 people. Y'all, listen to what I'm saying. They go to a California university in a city with a bunch of gay people, and then they survey 1,400 people about the level of their gayness. Okay? 27 of those people did not respond at all. Okay? This is a 2018 survey. So this is why I say, now I really want you to think about this. There are 40 million Black people in this country. 20 million of them, at least, are female. They surveyed 1,400 people in one of the gayest places on earth and came up with this 23%. Okay? They came up with this 23%. So they are playing a lot of games right here. But that there is some information. And so, yes, according to their survey of 1,400 people in California, in a city with a lot of gay people, 24% of the people, of the 1,400 people they surveyed, said that they were lesbian or bisexual. So, yes, that's factual. That did occur. But I feel this is a very questionable, a very questionable survey. Even if they weren't in the gayest place on earth, I would think a sample size of 1,400 people is not something that the gay community needs to be running around getting all excited about. Like, just calm down, non-binary or negative binary or whoever it is that dared me to make this video. Like, you should have probably read the study. Okay. And I will put links to everything in the description box when this video is over if you want to take a look at these studies on their own. But there's something I want to talk about that the negative binary person did not discuss. Um, and number one, and that is homosexuality in the Black community. So here we have another study, and it's not the best study either. This is another example of like gay propaganda. You have a lot of rainbow vomit. We can't really trust because they're trying to convert the Black community into like loving homosexuality, and they've done a much better job of converting Black women than converting Black men. I'm just going to keep it real. There are a couple of things that I do want to just state off top. So let me stop sharing this. We'll go back to that in a minute. We're going to go back to some other studies that are slightly more legitimate, but do show us that we do have a problem and a lot of things. So first of all, I want to say two things. Cynthia was right. Black male worshiping culture somehow has led to lesbianism in the Black community. I know this sounds weird, but I have evidence. And the second thing I want to say is if we have a significant amount of lesbians raising children and gays raising children, that can affect how a sizable portion of our children grow up and how they operate within their feminine or masculine. So the men might have a point, at least for children raised in lesbian households, that the boys are coming out a little weird. Now, don't kill the messenger, okay? I'm saying the men are right, and then Cindy is definitely right on this. Like, there's some truth on both sides of this coin. But before we get to it, because remember, you have to be careful when you're dealing with the gay people because they always misrepresent information when they're self-promoting. Let's start with the fact that we know there is a very small population of homosexuals in the Black community. Literally around 4% of Black people consider themselves gay. Now, this is a hard stat, but I'm going to show you how dishonest homosexuals are, even though I'm about to use this study. So we have a slightly better, and I do say slightly, and I really want to emphasize it's a very slightly better survey that was done. Better than, hold on, better than the one that the non-binary person gave me. Like I said, I might do more for making this non-binary person's case than the gay person made for themselves because they gave a crappy study that was easy to debunk. You can't hand me a survey with 1,500 people and say, bam, there you go. You can't do that. But I'm going to actually use a slightly, ever so slightly better study. Now, what's interesting about this study is literally this study contradicts itself within itself, which the gays do a lot. So within this very study, they also go to one of the gayest places on earth. And I say this because there are parts of the country that have a higher concentration of gay people. And basically, this is the South. In the South, there are lots and lots and lots of homosexuals. And UCLA did they have this wonderful map here. And if you look at the map, If you look at the map, there are literally parts of the country where like 79 to 100%, right, of couples are raising children, but they're gay couples. And then there are parts of the country, much of the country, where there's no gay people, but you can see that they're concentrated, strangely, mostly on the southern eastern portion of the country, and especially down here in the South, right? Florida, Carolina, all of these states down here in the South, you have a high concentration of homosexual couples that are raising children, okay? They're raising kids. And all these gay people raising kids could be a reason that our men don't know how to behave and our women don't know how to behave. You know, we're all out of touch because you have a high concentration. So the reason I'm bringing up this map is because in this particular survey, they were in that part of the country, right? They were in the gayest parts of the country for Black people, and they took this particular survey. Now, I want you to see something. Before we get into the data, let's look at, now remember, this is not the data that the non-binary person gave me. We've already debunked their stupid poll, okay? Their stupid poll had 1,500 people in a gay city, and then they tried to say 24% of Black African Americans were lesbian after surveying 1,500 people. So we're going to disregard negative binaries, triple dog dare to me, because negative binaries should have read that crappy study before they suggested it. But we're going to look at a different one. So in this study, they admit that 5% only, now listen to this. Can I make this bigger? Can I make this bigger? Yes. Look, 5% of Black people identify as LGBT. Okay? Now, this is very close to the percentage that I just gave you, which is basically 3.7, or we could say easily 4%. So somewhere between 4 and 5% of Black people are gay. Now, to show you how you cannot trust gay people at all to talk about themselves, in the same exact survey, right? In the same exact data set, these gay people admit that only 5% of Black people are LGBT. But then what they did, right? What they did is they then went to one of the gayest places in the country, because everything is propaganda with them, right? They went to one of the gayest places in the country, and they took a survey, and now this survey is a little bit better than the one that negative binary gave me. Negative binary survey had 1,500 people. Now again, this survey is not much better, okay? It's not much better, but it's somewhat better. They did poll, slightly, ever so slightly more people. They polled around 5,000. Let me give you the exact number, okay? They polled, let me see. I want to give you guys the exact number of people, because it wasn't many. Let's take a look at it. And they got a very high rate in these gay areas. And this is really what I wanted to talk about. Oh, here we go. They polled, let me blow it up for you guys so you can see it. So this is a crap survey too. They basically went to the gayest place in the country down south, right? They chose a gay city, and they polled 5,400 Black census respondents. Okay, so this is still a crap study. It's not as crap as non-binary study of 1,500 people. But again, there are literally 40 million Black people in this country. 40 million. They polled 5,400 was their sample size, okay? And this is why, honestly, data sets are very problematic to me. And self-reporting data sets at that, but just these data sets are problematic to me because you cannot scale these up, especially when you go, that's like taking a poll of 5,400 people in Atlanta. All those people are gay out there. Oh, okay. No offense to those of you who live in Atlanta, but 90% of you guys are homosexual or bisexual or calling yourself something, but you're really gay. Like, you know what I'm saying? So if I go poll 5,400 people in, let's say, Atlanta, it's going to be off the charts with the gayness. This is not reflective of the whole Black population, though. They're doing something different there. However, when they polled these 5,400 people, we're not to throw this whole entire study away because look at this. 3% were lesbian, 6% gave no answer. Um, 3% were gay, 7% were bisexual, and then I don't even know what other sexual orientation you could possibly be, but you actually had people that said that they were a different sexual orientation than lesbian, gay, bisexual, or heterosexual, which I found fascinating. I would say if you are some other orientation, you're part of the alphabet committee, right? So what that's 3, 6, 13, 17% queer in the South. All right. 17% queer in the state that they did this. Of the of the what was it? 5,400. It was only 5,400 uh black people that they polled. Now, when we talk about the gay community, when we talk about the gay community, there is something that I really do want to discuss with you guys. And this is where I want to say that Cynthia was right. Most gay people in the Black community are not men. Most gay people in the Black community are not men. And this is very important because if the men are arguing that women are raising effeminate boys, maybe it's the lesbian women. It's the lesbian women that are doing it. Maybe the lesbian women are the women that are raising these effeminate boys because of the gay population, which is highly concentrated in the southern states where we have high Black populations, right? Of that population, 58% of the gay people are women. 60% of homosexuality in the Black community are women. And I said once, ladies, don't get mad at me, are Black women the weakest link? Why are Black women so embracing Black male gays and Black transgenders? You literally have on For Harriet's channel, Kimberly literally berated women who would not accept men perpetuating themselves as women as real women. Like she was ready to fight with other women over a man in a dress identifying as a woman. And the Black community is very good for that. Even if you look at some of my community posts, when I speak about the gays, when I called out that TikTok that all the ladies are doing, let me see you walk, 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 and it's a gay anthem. I had Black women coming for me because I just was like, what are we doing, ladies? Like, let us reason together. Why are we all walking all over TikTok to a gay anthem with a big fat gay guy walking around? Black women literally came under that to beef with me over a gay Black dude, right? Lots of the popular commentary channels for these young millennials and Gen whatever they are people, these people are queer Black women. So this is becoming extremely common. Most gay people in the Black community are women. But remember when I said Sinji was right? So I want to say this. The gays are raising our kids. If most gay people are women and there's a high concentration of gay couples raising children in the South, then it would go that They're raising kids because they're gay women and they've given birth to these kids. And one of my mods is a lesbian and she has kids. I have a patron who's a lesbian and she's got kids. I mean, I've met these lesbians with kids. I've met them in real life. I've met them here on YouTube. These lesbians are raising kids. I mean, the gay men are too, but since 60% of the gay population are lesbians, now again, it's not 24%. Negative binary was retarded on that. We don't have a 25% lesbian population or 24% lesbian population, but we have enough gay people, enough of a lesbian population. And this might explain, and I want to do a whole nother video because the term male identified? You know that term, male identified? Do you know that it's a lesbian who came up with that term? A black feminist lesbian. Let me repeat this. A black feminist lesbian came up with the term male identified. Y'all, I'm going to do a whole video on how a lot of the rhetoric I hear here on YouTube on the men and the women's side legit is traceable to a gay person. I mean, I already did the video on toxic masculinity. Toxic masculinity can be traced back to a transgender. A transgender came up with the idea of hegemonic masculinity, aka toxic masculinity. A man in a dress came up with that whole concept of manhood being toxic. Just like a woman who's licking vagina came up with the concept of male identified women. I'm going to do a whole video where I'm going to break down all of this language that we hear in these gender war spaces. And I'm going to trace it back to actual papers that were written by gay people. Because when I said these conversations are homosexual, maybe you're mentally a homosexual, I was not playing. Like, you don't even know. A lot of us say things and we don't know that homosexuals came up with these ideologies, but we've embraced them. But let's move on. Why do we have such a high lesbian population? Why do we have such a high lesbian population? Well, this blew my entire mind, y'all. This blew my mind. This blew my entire mind. Why do we have such a high lesbian population? And this is where, honestly, I had to say that Sin was right. A shortage of men. Listen to this. They found a pattern among young Black women. Young Black women were more likely to engage in same-sex sexual behavior than women and men in other racial and age groups. They said that it had to do with the shortage of men hypotheses. That basically, because there aren't enough marriageable Black men, that women started to consider options beyond heterosexual relationships or marriage. These women would rather be lesbians than date any man that wasn't Black. Y'all, I was on the floor. Like, we have to talk, ladies. Ladies. Now, I know, I need to know, for those of you who are very much against dating outside of the Black community, is it better that they be lesbians? Because honestly, I have never been. You guys know I've been over on Cynthia's channel and we have debated if there is a Black male worshiping culture because I refuse to accept that crap. But if the reality is that we have a 60% of homosexuals in the Black community are lesbian, and they're literally becoming lesbian because there aren't a lot of marriageable Black men, and rather than date any other kind of man with a penis, they would just date another woman. What in the freaking world? What is that? Y'all, what is that? Can you guys explain to me? What in the world is going on here? Y'all, I can't. I can't. I honestly, I literally cannot. I can't with this. Okay, that is black male worshiping. Look, y'all know I don't promote dating outside and I don't care who people date. But damn it, I would rather you go get anybody that is a man than be a lesbian. It's not that damn serious around here. We need to stop shaming people because this is out of control. I was on the freaking floor. You mean to tell me the lesbian population is so high in the black community because there aren't any good black men to marry? That's what they're saying. They're incarcerated. If you dig into these studies, I'm going to post them all. The men are incarcerated. The men are not gainfully employed because the women are making more money in the black community. And so because black women are so race loyal, they literally would rather date each other than date out. You can't make this stuff up, y'all. I mean, you cannot make this stuff up. You cannot make this up. Now, when negative binary came and pushed that bogus stat of 24% of black women are lesbian or bisexual, I did not know that I was going to end up in this rabbit hole where I found out that number one, that stat is incorrect. Okay. But number two, there's a high concentration of lesbian women raising children in the Southeast, and they're gay because there are no men. And they don't want to date anybody but black men. They're so race loyal, they are actually becoming lesbian. Y'all, we need to talk about this. Now, I can't talk about this today because honestly, I was so in shock. On it, I could have done this video at any time. I kept postponing it, number one, because Mr. was leaving town. And I have family coming in town and I just needed to focus. But also to really gather my whole thoughts together for this. Y'all, I had to gather everything together because that had me on the freaking floor. I was done. Honestly, I'm done. I'm overdone. You guys tell me that this makes sense. They are lesbians. We have most homosexuals in the black community are women because the women are so race loyal. If there's not a black man to marry, they just start dating each other. What is this? What is this? And then the other percentage of women are dating women because of negative experiences with men. Y'all, this is the reality. 60% of homosexuals in the black community are women. They're either with women because there are no men for them to pick from and they won't date out because they're just that race loyal, or they're lesbians because they've had bad experiences with men. I just don't even know what to say. This is ridiculous. Y'all, ladies, we have to really, ladies, I'm sure lesbianism is not the answer. Okay? I can't. It's not me. Why don't say it's a reach? I'm just telling you what the data said. Look, you guys are welcome to go. Like I said, all of these studies will be in the description box of this video. Give me 10 or 15 minutes to copy and paste all the links. I'm not reaching. I'm telling you what the data shows. That's all. Now, like I said, I wasn't going to rock with the 24% of lesbian thing, but I'm just saying it could be a self-perpetuating problem. If there are men claiming that there are women raising boys that are effeminate, and we don't have men in the home, and we have a high concentration, 60% of homosexuals in the black community are women, and they are dating each other because there aren't marriageable black men, right? And this is a true thing. I've done this. In places where there's a high concentration of black people, a significant portion of the marriageable men are incarcerated. So you have a high population of black people, but the marriageable women outnumber the marriageable men. This is not disputable. And they're starting to date each other, or they've had negative experiences. We know 60% of black women who have reported sexual abuse before they reach the age of 16, I think it is. I don't think it's 18. I think it's 16. 60% of black women have been abused. Many of those women are turning into lesbians. This is a real conversation we need to have. Now, negative binary was on some stupid stuff when they triple dog dare me to make this video, but this is a real conversation we need to have in the black community. Because if we let this keep going on, well, it is going to be a problem. Maybe your boys are effeminate. If they're being raised by lesbians, what are they going to raise? Maybe there is a problem with finding good black men. If literally women are saying we're dating other women because we're just so race loyal and there's no black men for us to marry, we might need to have a conversation. And I know this is I don't say this, for any reason except for, I don't promote homosexuality. So if we have a contributing factor that is causing women to choose homosexuality over anything, well then we really need to talk about that. We really need to address those issues. This is a small part of the population of Black people, granted, but to think that it doesn't become more of an impact when we start to consider that, like I said, I mean, let's look at that map. Y'all, let's look at the map. Let's look at the map. I just want to show you this map once again. This isn't the concentration of homosexuals. This is the concentration of homosexuals that are raising children. This is the concentration of homosexuals that are raising children, right? Let's go to the other one. Look, y'all don't have to want to. It's fine. We could be in denial. I mean, we could be in denial because these conversations make us uncomfortable. I mean, y'all do what you do. You know what I mean? You do what you do. We can pretend like this is not going on, but are we going to deal with this? That's all I want to know. Are we going to deal with it? Look at this map. Percentage of same-sex couples with African American householder raising their own children. Look at where they're concentrated, where the gays are raising kids. These aren't male and female led households. So we're just not going to talk about this. We're just going to pretend this isn't going on. We're going to pretend women aren't becoming gay because of trauma and lack of men. And we're going to pretend that the gays aren't just raising kids in mass all over the Southeast. We're just going to act, okay, fine. All right, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine, you guys. We could play make believe. It's fine. We'll let's just nothing to see here. I never made this video. Miss T said, I like your point of view, but I low key have an agenda with this topic. Yeah, I'm promoting heterosexuality and healthy households. I do have everybody knows my agenda. I promote healthy gender relations and heterosexual households. I high key having it. It's not a low key agenda. Miss T, let me put your comment up. My agenda is not low key. It's a high key agenda. I would like to think I'm pretty straightforward. It's a high key agenda. I told you I'm about to do a whole video on rhetoric that goes on in male and female spaces and terminology we use that was literally created by gay people. It's a high key agenda. And for the record, I didn't ask to make this video. At the beginning of the video, I showed you guys the written request by a somebody called Negative Binary who asked me to make this video. The gays asked for this video. I'm just making the video, okay? The gay people came to me, right? The non-binary community came to me and asked me to make the video. So I made the video. What do you guys what do you guys want from me? Come on. Anyway, I'm out of here, you guys. I'm coming with that video. When I tell you some of these, you guys are never gonna want to use these terms again. When I tell you a lot of these terms legitimately come from homosexuals, you're gonna be like, no flipping way. A gay person, a lesbian, or a gay dude, or a transgender came up with these terms that we're fluttering around heterosexual spaces. We just keep throwing these terms at each other, but they're gay terms. And that actually, it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me at all. And you know what provoked me to research it? Because I made that video on, do you have a homosexual mindset? I just was like, this seems gay to me. As a heterosexual, this stuff seems gay. But then I heard a Black feminist basically bragging on the fact that heterosexuals are using certain terms and they don't realize that they're using them. And I was like, are we really? So I went to research it. I went to research the origins of some of the terminology we use in the gender war. And lo and behold, it was a bunch of gay people. I was like, this is crazy. The gays are promoting the gender war. The gay people are the foundation of the gender war. Y'all, you can make this stuff up. When I make this video, you guys are going to be like, man, Irene, this is crazy. And it is crazy. If you thought my video on toxic masculinity was something, with that whole white man in a dress walking around promoting hegemonic masculinity, oh, you're going to love this video. You're going to be like, everything I've ever heard in the manosphere, everything I've ever heard by the Black feminists came from gay people. Yes, homosexuals. These homosexuals, they have infiltrated. Now, if you don't want to give the gays anything, they know how to infiltrate. And we need to start paying attention and stop just parroting off things from a hurt place. Because what you didn't know is that the gays are playing us like puppets on a string. That's what you didn't know. So with that said, I'm going to get out of here. Um, yeah, that's going to be a fun video. I cannot wait to make that video. It's like a rabbit hole. So, I'm going to get out of here. I'll talk to you guys later. Feel free, give me, like I said, 15 minutes or so to put all the links to everything in my description box. I mean, I put y'all looked at the studies with me. I mean, I put them on the screen, but you guys can go read them yourself. Like I said, whenever you have homosexual promotion, you do have to look at it with a fine tooth comb. These people are running out here polling 1,500 people in the gayest place on earth and then talking about that represents the whole Black community. So we have to be careful with like all that. But that doesn't mean that we want to disregard these conversations that the gays are having amongst themselves and that we want to disregard these data sets because there are some real conversations that are relevant to the heterosexual community in these data sets. So, negative binary who double dog, triple dog dare me to make this video, thank you for your video request because it actually has opened up a conversation that I think the heterosexual community can benefit from. Probably wasn't the in your face kind of moment you were hoping for, but we need to be aware because in the way that the gays promote intensively their lifestyle, we should be promoting heterosexual lifestyle mindset and be looking out for these things that are weakening, right? That are weakening our numbers and that are affecting our heterosexual relationships between men and women, right? So, anyway, I'll talk to you guys later.